Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series dedicated to Venice in Italy. I'm your host, Monica Cesarato, a Venetian food and travel blogger. Join me as I share my insider knowledge to help you explore Venice at 360 degrees. In this weekly podcast, we'll dive into the heart of a city, uncovering hidden stories and connecting with the people who make Venice unique. The artisans, the writers, the fashion designers, the bloggers, the journalists, and more. Let's break free from cliché and discover the true essence of Venice, not just the monuments, but the vibrant people, the Venetians. Experience Venice the right sustainable way. You can find me on my blog at www.monicacesarato.com and across all social media platforms. Enjoy the episode and let's journey through Venice together. Welcome back to Venice Talks, Season 4, Episode 10.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Venice Talks. Today I have something special because I'm returning to a story which I first started talking about in 2023. I'm gonna talk about women for freedom, and this time I'm going to start from the heart of the organization itself with Sara Memo, who is the project manager for the organization, and she works closely with the mission. And Sara, welcome back.
Hi, Monica. Nice to meet you again. Thank you for the invitation. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
And it's always nice to talk to somebody like me that is like, whoa, first thing in the morning. Because it's early in the morning and we're both very hype. So I think a Sara like me has got a little tiny bit of ADHD, but I'm not so sure about that.
Very probably. I don't want to inquire on that.
It's a test you can do. Very easy, very easy. Listen, okay. Let's start from the beginning because, of course, it was 2023, it was 3 years ago. I'm not so sure if listeners remember. And if they don't, you should go back and look for the episode. But for the people that are listening for the first time, can you tell us what Women for Freedom is and what kind of work your organization does?
Yeah, with pleasure. So to be very short and not bother people that have already learned about Women for Freedom, this organization is an Italian not-for-profit organization based in Bassano del Grappa, which is a town, a city in the heart of the Veneto region, approximately 2 hours from Venice. And Women for Freedom works to protect the rights and dignity of women, girls, and children in vulnerable situations all around the world. So since 2014, the year of foundation of the organization, we have been implementing over 100 projects in 8 countries, namely Cameroon, Togo, Nepal, India, Bolivia, Romania, Ukraine, and Italy, of course. So we don't just provide aid, we work with local partners to create opportunities through education, economic empowerment, community development. So the approach is that people can rebuild their lives with independence and dignity. At the heart of everything we do is one idea: helping people regaining freedom to shape their own future.
It is the idea of do not go and catch a fish, teach a person how to fish.
And precisely. I think you matched the point. Yes, precisely.
Okay. Fantastic. And from 2023, when we last spoke, how would you describe everything that has happened since then in one word?
Oh, well, this is a very interesting question. If one word, I would choose the word culture. Okay. Because in 2024, Women for Freedom has officially made the promotion of what we call culture of respect as a core part of our mission. So that was officially including also in the up-to-date statute of 2024. So this reflects the belief that we shouldn't only respond to violence after it happens, but we also need to prevent it by addressing its cultural roots. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have expanded our work with schools and companies, especially B Corps, using innovative approaches like gamification, interactive workshop, and even art. So, for instance, performances, concerts, theater. The core idea has been challenging stereotypes an inspiring reflection. So because we understood that real change starts with changing mindsets. So what we are always saying is every one of us is part of the problem, but at the same time, every one of us can be part of the solution.
Absolutely, absolutely. How did you get involved in Women for Freedom?
Oh, well.
And when did you get involved?
I started to work in Women for Freedom 5 years ago already, which just passed in an eye click. And I think I was drawn by the organization's values and by the way it combines professionalism with genuine humanity. So the more I learned about the work of the organization, the more I realized that these were not just ideals, but the core of activity was to be translated into real action and real impact. And so this, I think, was what convinced me to jump from another job to the other and start working with Women for Freedom.
Okay, so Women for Freedom supports women, girls, children in all situations of poverty, violence, exploitation, fragility. Since you're the project manager, how do you choose the projects to support? Because of course, the world is big. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad things happening, above all for women. So how do you say yes to this and not to that? What's not the criteria, but at least an idea of how you choose it?
Well, this is difficult as well, because as you said, there are millions of causes we can jump into and start to help. But the board of directors is the organ that actually is entitled also to choose, of course, the directions in relation to the vision of the organization. But to be very, very concise and very concrete, I think everything starts by listening. What we are doing is working with trusted local partners and who know their communities better than we do, of course.
But by local partner, you're talking about like the authorities, other charities, or something like that. Yes, okay.
We do have in each and every countries abroad where we are working other organization of support. There are NGOs as we are that are our first connector to local realities. So what we are doing when we are knowing new organization, when we are going on missions abroad, is first developing a pilot projects with them, just to understand how they work and if they match not only our values but also the standards, and especially the financial standards, because we want, from the very beginning, we have been always wanted to be accountable to donors. So our balance sheets are revised from external auditors. So they need to, align to certain standards, also in very practical terms.
Yeah, because it's very easy for saying, okay, I have a charity, and it happens quite often that you have also big organizations around the world that become under scrutiny because all of a sudden, somewhere along the lines, something didn't go the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's very important, above all, when you deal with women and children, of course.
Exactly. And the approach has always been to choose in a very, let's say, also, how can I say, unpractical way to do less, but to do what we do with the highest standard of quality.
Of course.
And I think that approach has also the impact in the long term, because in 2024, we have been also recognized as the first organization working in the province of Vicenza to be recognized by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs as NGOs. And in order to do that, seriously, you have to undertake a very, very strict due diligence process.
Wow. Yeah. Congrats. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah. That has been a teamwork and not only my merit.
But how many people work in Women for Freedom officially, as in the office, not worldwide? Because I realize then you have all your partners and the people that support you and stuff. But actually, nitty gritty, as we were saying before, How many people?
We are 4 people of staff, so I'm an employee of Women for Freedom.
Okay.
I am the project manager designing and implementing projects, so the person that is in charge of attracting large funds from institutions, foundations, corporates, and so on and so forth. Then we have another colleague that is entrusted with all the education, so putting forward all the activities on the Italian territory. A third colleague that manages all the finance and accountants of the organization, and then a fourth colleague that is entrusted with all the communication activity, because of course you need also to communicate what
I cannot believe you do everything and you're only 4 people.
Yeah,
you Superman and Superwomen?
No. But we have also a very, very strong basis of volunteers.
Okay.
A board of directors, 7 members of the board of directors that are they have been appointed on a voluntary basis and serve the organization as a second job, to be very honest with you, and almost 100 volunteers supporting us in fundraising activities. So
whoa, that is so good. No, but still 100 people. That's nice. That's 100 volunteers. That's quite a lot of people. That's very good. Well done. One question: how you work with, let's say, very difficult situations, because of course, at the last press conference, of which we're going to talk in a minute, they were explaining, the kind of situation that you have to work with and so on. How hard it is to tell the stories of these people, but at the same time protect their dignity and making sure that their not just their privacy, but also their story is told in the right way?
This is a very delicate issue, in fact, because we always try to avoid the so-called secondary violence, secondary discrimination, because whenever a person is affected by this huge tragedy, you cannot put him, her under the spotlights and make it become, sort of character of a story.
Like a puppet, a drama or stuff like that.
Exactly, because you want to promote how good you are, how many activities you're doing. This is not our way of approaching, the situations and rights. So whenever we are called to communicate stories, if they are minors, we are always how can I say, protect their identities by hiding their faces or asking their parents or tutors whatsoever the consent to use them. Same thing for major women. So even if they are willing to expose themselves to, support other women in the same situation and say, listen, there is a way out of this situation. I can explain my story and how I could, be released. We try to do a good match by also protecting the identity, because by, for instance, interviewing her on the back front, or
distorting the voice and so on. Because it's very important. You want them to talk, because you want people to realize that this is happening, and there are people that manage to turn their life around, but at the same time you don't want to put them in a bad situation again. So it's not easy. I realize that. What is the difference for you and for the company as well between helping someone and giving someone back the freedom and to help themselves?
Well, I think that you explained it very, very clearly before with the approach of the fish and the attitude, the web to fish something. But I think that, to be very concrete, helping often means responding to an immediate need. If we are helping someone, we are responding to an immediate need. If it is he or she is starving, we provide food. This is helping, in my view. But giving someone back to their freedom means instead creating the condition for him, her, whatever, to make his or her own choices, becoming independent and build the future they want to build. So, for instance, by providing knowledge, by providing education, by providing economic independence, what is really working very well in development countries is microcredit activities. So you provide the first boost in order to start your or own activities, and then you can just take off with a new life.
Can you give him some idea of the projects that you've been working on, so to make people understand how how the organization works?
Yeah, with pleasure. So I would start from the very last project that has been inaugurated on the 30th of April this year.
Oh, literally fresh. Okay.
Very fresh and a very, very huge project for us. It is a project that takes place in Bolivia, in the city of Cochabamba, where we have been opening a new shelter center for girls. So we are talking about girls from approximately 11 to 16, 17 years old.
I've got shivers. I mean, right now I go like, oh my God, Okay.
These girls are victims of violence and human trafficking. And the bad part of the story is that most of the times, not always, thanks God, but most of the times, they have been sold to human traffickers by their own families.
Of course.
So they cannot come back to their own home. This is one of the most frequent questions that we are asked. Why you can just not resend them to their homes?
Because 10 minutes later there's someone again.
Yeah, it's not a safe place for them.
Yeah, of course.
So in that place, they are welcome. They reside. This is a home, and they are. They undergo a psychotherapist process, of course, because they come, they are totally overwhelmed by everything has happened to them.
Of course.
And then little by little, if they have not finished the school yet, they have the opportunity to complete the school years and also to be trained to very practical jobs, so vocational training, in order to be able to be independent once they become 18 years old. And according to the Bolivian law, they cannot be part of a minor refugee center.
Of course.
Anymore.
So they actually, and that's why it's so important for your organization to exist. These children, because they are children, will stay in the refuge until they are 18. So it's like a let's say, it's not an orphanage because it's not an orphanage, because there's something different. But in a way, you are their home until they become adults, really.
Exactly. And what we did is actually replicate another project that was developed in El Alto, La Paz, in the capital city of Bolivia, which really worked very, very well, because 8 girls out of 10 that were taken into this center started a brand new life after the completion of this experience.
Wow!
So this is a very high success rate in our opinion. But what we wanted to do in Cochabamba is also creating, how can I say, a transit house. So whenever they get 18 years old, it's not that the day after we open the door and say, okay,
goodbye. Yeah, you throw them in the world and get on with it. Yeah, exactly.
But to have this transit house that smoothly can accompany them to their independence, and each of them can have also a different timing on the basis, of course, also the experience that she has been living. So every time we also replicate projects, we try to improve the previous phase in order, to be more impactful.
Yeah, of course. You see what didn't work and what worked, and you make the according changes. How many children or women usually stay in the refuge?
Well, we just opened a new one, and the capacity is for 20 girls
Wow.
right now, up to 20. The thing is that you cannot just say, okay, welcome on board, and we can accompany you. But according to the law, also to the Italian law, regulating this kind of institutions, you need to have minimum staff per person, which are psychologists, psychotherapists, social workers.
And do you use local people?
We have to.
No, I mean, it's actually good though, because you're not just helping the girls, but you're also helping the locals, the local economy. You're creating jobs for them as well.
Absolutely, but also the approach is always bottom up, which means also we are not, the white man conquering the world.
The scientist doing a little experiment with the ants and looking from above. Yeah, I got you.
And then we need to also understand the culture, and we cannot, how can I say, substitute to them. So we are very humble also in the approach and say, okay, these are our boundaries, our limitation of activities. And then we rely on experts, on local experts to put them forward in a better way.
And Sara, is the idea, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the idea that by starting this, this refuge for women and for children, you go there, you started, then you open another one, but then also you teach the local people that they can have, and they can do it probably another one on their own. Is there also an idea?
Well, the idea is actually to replicate to other countries that are facing the very same challenges in terms of children's violence, human trafficking. I'm thinking, for instance, and mostly to Nepal in this case. So to replicate international the same experience. So nowadays, what we did is starting up with the first project which was called Trampoline, as I was telling you before, in El Alto La Paz. Then we have just moved to Cochabamba, which is a project that at least we imagine can last 10 years, but we want to, go forward and structure it very, very strongly. And then replicate the same methodology to other countries. This is the vision.
Nice. How can people support Women for Freedom in a concrete way? Apart from feeling emotional and agreeing with what we are saying and so on.
So there are many ways, of course, and of course donations matter, because we are not a corporate, so we are not producing any good or service that can generate profit. But we're not talking just about money, just about donations. But I think the very high leverage of Women for Freedom is people. So people can also volunteer, build partnerships with us, attend our events, or simply, which is simply but not something really superficial, help spread awareness about these issues we are working on. So turning empathy into action, I think, is the most powerful form of support people can do.
And I think everybody's got to find its own way, because, for example, I like to talk about things. I like to expose people, and I know it's my way of giving back. From this work, which is very concrete, and I get it also really, really hard, we arrived to music, because that's the reason why I'm calling you here. It wasn't just because, of course, it was for Women for Freedom, but since you're in Bassano, you're not in Venice, we had to find a link. But by the way, earlier on, while we were talking with Sara, I realized the link is even stronger, because I didn't realize that Sara actually is from Burano. I thought she was from Bassano, and then as we were talking before going on air, she said to me, oh no, I want to go back home. I'm from Burano. And I'm like, oh, that's fine then. That's you definitely
everything has a
be on the
connection.
show. Okay, so back to Venice, because Women for Freedom also, as you said earlier on, the new kind of direction that actually was started 10 years ago, but let's say even more so now, is you speak through culture. In Venice, you find it in one of the strongest voices, which is Women for Freedom in Jazz. which, let's start. Unfortunately, she's not here with us at the moment. That's Elena Ferrarese, and we say hi to her. But of course, right now she's organizing one of the concerts, so she couldn't be here.
Yeah,
She's one of the founders. Okay, what is Women for Freedom in Jazz, first of all?
So I am asked to play the very difficult role of Elena Ferrarese ambassador, and I'm hoping that I'm able to spread his.
Okay, first of all, you need to change your voice.
Exactly, but I'm not able to do that. So, but in any case,
Elena you are a spokesperson. Okay.
Exactly, and I hope to be a very to be good enough to promote also all the ideas and values underlying the Women for Freedom in Jazz. So Elena Ferrarese, who is the artistic director of Women for Freedom in Jazz, was asked 10 years ago to organize a jazz series in Venice. And I think by destiny, she was discovering Women for Freedom in the same days. So she had the very, very smart intuition that music could become much more than entertainment. But music could also become a voice for women facing discrimination, vulnerability around the world. So this is what she put into Women for Freedom in Jazz.
But let's explain what is Women for Freedom in Jazz.
Women for Freedom in Jazz is a series of jazz concerts that had each year a main theme. So that I will talk about afterwards. And these concerts are taking place in Venice. So until last year, they were taking place in the Hotel Carlton, which is one of the biggest hotels that you just see when stepping out from the railway station, just on the other side of the canal. But this year, the Women for Freedom in Jazz was moved to another hotel, which is part of the same family property. It is called Aquarius Hotel. And
which is a beautiful hotel.
I know. And it is based very, very nearby in the Campo San Giacomo dell'Olio, which is a small well, not a small square.
It's not that small. It's actually one of the biggest.
It's one of the biggest square, because Campo cannot really be translated with square. But Monica will tell you more on that in the tours, and I would
it's one of the first. It's one of the first thing I explain.
This opens up a very high word of Venetian culture, but okay, let's keep it on the back side from the moment. And jazz has always been chosen as a music genre because, according to Elena, it has always been connected to freedom.
Well, of course. Jazz was born out from the slaves, the black slaves.
Exactly. And then talking about, Billie Holiday, Nina Simone, all these big artists that we all know about, music was also a means to fight injustice and give voice to those like slaves that were unheard and were in a situation of rights deprivation. So this is how the festival was born. It is in the 10th edition, so every year is becoming bigger and bigger. It started with a very few initiative, and then it becomes something that I think belongs not only to the artists, to the organization, to Women for Freedom, but I think mostly to the city. This is my understanding.
I like it because what Elena was saying in the last press conference is that at the beginning, she was the one looking for the singers, because of course, Women for Freedom, of course, each concert is a jazz singer, woman singing. As you were saying, every year there is a different theme. And she was saying that it's got so big that now she's not the one chasing the singers. Is the singers themselves asking to be part of a festival, which I think it's an amazing achievement. It shows the level of awareness, but also how deep, the connection between music and Women for Freedom has become. So I think it's really nice for her, this part, What's the theme of this year?
Well, this year the theme regards all scusami, possiamo fermarci un secondo?
No, vai, tranquilla, dimmelo in italiano. She needs to tell me because she can't remember. I think it's about writers, isn't it? Music,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I could not find the correct word.
See, Sara, I went to the press conference. You were working, so that's okay. Totally
No,
understandable.
I know in Italian, but to me it's quite difficult to find the words in English. But
because it's not what you look. Usually you do something else. I totally get it. Yeah, it's about writers, isn't it? Each singer have poets or writers, and they dedicated, I think, the all songs. They have to have some kind of connection to these writers, but I haven't got the paperwork on me. Do you have some names to throw in the air or not? She didn't give you.
No.
See, Elena, see, not so good. Vabbè, we will put a link on this episode obviously on the blog and so on, so you can actually go and see all the program, and you'll understand what we're talking about. How many? What's that? Is it one concert a month or two concerts a month? I can't remember.
No, it's 2 concerts a month, and it shall be every Wednesday evening. So it's very connected also with this very entrepreneurial moment, which is typical, I would say, not only of Venice, but of the Venetian culture, which is aperitivo.
Yes, it's summer.
Which is something that is related not just to drinking something together just before dinner time, but to, cool down after a very intense job day and talk to friends and enjoying life together. But this occasion is not just relaxing and
I think I was telling Elena that they slightly changed the format this year.
Exactly.
It used to be a sit-down dinner. It was a dinner sitting down with the music and everything. They changed the format. You had to book and everything. They changed it this year, by which is only is free entry, but you have, of course, to pay like a nominal ticket, which you get a free drink anyway. But you don't need to book. You can just turn up. And as you say, it's a different time as well. So it's right aperitivo time in a location that I got to say, I tried the cocktails, very nice cocktails, the Aquarius. I think as a format, probably it will be, I find it better personally, because I think sitting down dinner is a bit more complicated to organize for everybody, because, you need to take away the time, you got to... When you do it like that, you could have just people passing by, hearing the beautiful music and say, oh, what's this? Here we go. You go in and you just join and you help the organization. I think personally, as a format, it will work even better. It was already working before, but I think it will work even better. I don't know.
I think it too, also because that square of Venice is very part of the city. So it becomes more and more englobing the city. So where you can just walk in and, it's part of the city. And just to be also very honest and grateful, I would like to add one more word, that after this festival, Corey family, which is the family the owner of the on the hotel properties, provides each and every year a very generous donation to the causes of Women for Freedom,
which is so important.
So besides all the let's say donation that can be translated from each and every night from the foods and beverages that people are taking, the Corey's family always wanted to support very hardly and strongly the organization.
Mhm.
So it has become one of the, let's say, how can I say, friends of Women for Freedom, not only a donor, but is something that goes beyond, the festival and the donation per se, but they are always been sharing our values and visions. So they try to translate it also into normal practice as well.
Well, you become, by now, you become one of the summer events that everybody's waiting for. I mean, if I don't hear, what's going on? Why haven't I got the list of concerts yet? I get worried because I think, we're not doing it this year. It's become one of the main. I mean, obviously, I don't manage to go to every concert, but I always make sure to at least go one. But as you say, the location this year, I think, is even probably more, how can I say, indovinata, I can't get the words, but guessed better, okay? Because that is the wrong word, but chosen, okay? Because as you say, that particular campo is one of the few campos left in Venice that is still full of residents. In the morning, you go with children playing. In the evenings, everybody goes there to cool down because it's hot. You have a big sagra, San Giacomo dell'Orio. So yes, I think it will not just draw the locals and obviously the tourists, but I think it will draw even younger people. I just think it's a bit more, I think it's a perfect location, even more than the Carlton,
I think too, also because after 10 years, it has something that, has been renewed and also inspired by new forces. I just want to go back to you with some names that you asked me, and sorry for the bad connection. I could not
don't worry.
Answer the document I prepared with the program. The program, just to tell you, has been just released, so it's something very fresh that we are presenting to you.
Oh, cool.
So we have, as you said, several concerts. Oh, yes, the word that was missing before is the literature leitmotiv. This is something I could not find the word in English. But as you perfectly explain, is something, each concert takes inspiration from an author, from a literature author. So, for instance, there is Francesca Bettetazzo Hart that is taking inspiration from Emily Dickinson, just to name also a poet that is known worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
We have also Italo Calvino that is honored and inspired too from Elena Camerin, also to name someone that I'm sure is also known in the US and then we have several other concerts that are taking inspiration from other authors that could not, perhaps, or poets being very, very well known to the international public. But I just would like to mention one that is called Luciano Menetto. This is a very Venetian poet. So
yes.
I think, Elena, this year, as every year, but every year is better than the previous one, did a fantastic work in matching the international with a local dimension in a very consistent flow,
in a very Venetian way.
Exactly. I wouldn't find a word to say it better.
No, she's did a great job. It's true, and I love that. The moment she came up with this idea, immediately also the singers were on board. It totally understood in their own way, because each one of them obviously will have their own way of bringing into music this this liaison with poets and writers. So she's good. She's definitely good. Since you got the program in your hand, let's tell people again. The location is the Hotel Aquarius in Campo San Giacomo dell'Orio. The time usually
is around 7 o'clock in the evening. It shall start not at 7 sharp, but
7-ish.
Exactly. So it's the perfect aperitivo time that we are normally thinking of.
And the entry...
The location is very simple also to remind, because Hotel Aquarius, this word I think is very easy to be reminded.
Yeah, of course. And the ticket, but I know it's free entry, but when you pay some kind of nominal fee, but how much is it? I cannot remember. It was quite cheap, I remember.
It's a minimum of 15 euros.
Yeah,
so
which is the cost of a cocktail, really.
The first drink is included. So
exactly.
It's something that you just pay the drink basically for the location. Yeah. And one more thing I would like to add is that this hotel is very close to the railway station. So also if you're not staying in the city center, in the historical center, but just in the immediate mainland after Venice, it's let's say perhaps, Monica, 10 minutes, but 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes walk if you don't get lost.
Yeah. But a minute, it's a lot. I think 6-7 minutes you're there.
I said 10 minutes if you don't get lost today. Come on, let's make it a bit, it's 7 minutes, it's 5 minutes for us. Come on, we know where we're going. we Google close. Sometimes Google Maps usually gets you lost and whatever. So but let's say about 10 minutes. But as you say, no, it's a great opportunity if you're staying outside of Venice, because by being at 7 o'clock, let's say by 8:30 is finished, you got plenty of trains or buses to go back to your mainland hotel. So it's a great idea. I didn't even think about that. Well done. Nicely spot on. Sara, thank you so much for bringing the story of Women for Freedom back. I hope I'm not going to speak to you in another 3 years.
No, not for sure, but I'm sure also that we will meet very soon in one of these festival evening in Venice, because I'm definitely wanting to go and attend, because this year the program is very rich.
I know.
The city always deserves a visit. So you have one more reason to go and see Venice.
Absolutely. Listen, where can people find Women for Freedom online and on social medias?
So we do have our website with all the information, womenforfreedom.org, and then you can find us in the social, Facebook, Instagram, everything. So, and there's a dedicated page to Women for Freedom in Jazz. So if you're just interested in jazz and in concert, just type Women for Freedom in Jazz and you will find everything.
Sara, it was so beautiful talking to you, and we definitely got to organize so we can meet at one of his concerts, because me and you got to talk. We got to talk about things. We got to talk about Burano. And I speak to you next year for sure. We'll do it again next year. I promise. Okay.
A very, very high pleasure for me, and have a good day then, Monica, and thank you for the occasion to promote our activities and the festival.
Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao,
Thank
Cara.
you. Ciao, 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 ciao.
Thank you so much, Sara, for the wonderful chat. You can find Sara and her colleague at www.womenforfreedom.org and on all social medias at Women for Freedom. Thank you again for listening. Venice Talks podcast is a production of Sentire Media, created, produced and hosted by me, Monica Cesarato. Follow Venice Talks wherever you get your podcast, and if you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me over at www.monicacesarato.com and on all social medias with the handle at Monica Cesarato, where you can follow my adventures around Venice. And don't forget, if you love this episode, please rate it and leave a review. It's very much appreciated.